I would like to thank everyone for being at this conference entitled Liberation of Palestine, the Way Forward in the Middle East and the World. My name is Homa Arjamand. I'm the coordinator of International Campaign for One Secular School System, an international campaign to close down Iranian embassies. I'm very pleased to be at this conference moderator. This conference is organized by the Campaign of Women's Rights Movement Against Genocide for Palestine. The purpose of having this conference came out of necessity, as the apartheid states of Israel continue to slaughter Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank, and as the order of United Nations agencies ignored it by Israel, the crisis and the tension in Middle East has deepened. Everyone is aware tension that has spread in the region. The expansion of war in the Middle East has become a serious threat. Today, we will be hearing for all our guests about the volatile and grave situation. They will talk about what's happening in Palestine and the region. The aim is to show a way out of the current situation, threaten a human and compassionate alternative, working for freer and more equal world. Okay, so Evelyn, our speaker, Evelyn Accad, she is from Lebanon, born in Beirut, an educator, professor, writer, songwriter, poet, singer, anti-war activist. She is known to be one of the first scholars to speak out against genital mutilations and crime on women, such as honor killing. She's a founder of a shelter in Lebanon. She is an active member of this campaign. Evelyn, welcome, and thank you for being here always. And you're one of the lead people actually motivating this campaign and all the campaigns you are involved. The question I have, it's about when I called you, you stated that Israel planes are breaking the sound barrier above our heads, and that's in Lebanon, to play our nerve. Please let us know what's happening in Lebanon.
Thank you very much for organizing this conference, Homa, and the others. Really, we need to speak up and make our voices heard more and more. I mean, I was born in Beirut, Lebanon, in 1943, and I have seen and witnessed almost constant desolation and war, and conditions that are really very difficult on the Lebanese people. In fact, I was an airline hostess in 1968 when Israel bombed the planes, the Middle East Airlines planes. They burned them down on the tarmac of the airport in Beirut. And we need to remember that what is going on is not new, really. It has been going on and on and on and on ever since as I said, my adolescence. But there has been an increase now. And since October 8th, there has been continued exchange of fire on the southern Lebanese border. And the tension is escalating, and the attacks also are escalating. And the civilians, the hospitals, the homes and schools have been attacked indiscriminately in the south of Lebanon. The olive trees, the agricultural land, the crops damaged by phosphorus bombs. And I think you'll have a clip by Tracy Shamoun. Tracy Shamoun is a good friend of mine who's also a candidate for the presidency in Lebanon. But as you can imagine, a very patriarchal system will not allow many women to voice it. She's very seldom mentioned even in the as a candidate. And we have two women who have come down with the accepted or raised themselves as candidates for the presidency. But to see a woman, and in my opinion, a woman would be a very good option, especially Tracy Shamoun. She has a fantastic, anyway, we can talk about this later, but what I was going to say is that the white phosphorus is an incendiary substance, mostly used to create a dense smoke screen or mark targets. And when exposed to air, it burns at extremely high temperatures and often starts fires in the areas in which it is deployed. So people exposed to white phosphorus can suffer respiratory damage, organ failure, and other horrific and life-changing injuries, including burns that are extremely difficult to treat and cannot be put out with water. Burns affecting only 10% of the body are often fatal. Phosphorus bombs have been used in Gaza and Lebanon by Israel against civilians, which is prohibited by international law. And as you can imagine, and we're already suffering as Lebanese with all the pollution, the explosion of the port, the Beirut port, in which I was a victim and almost died. I since then have a lot of lung problems and also bone problems. And this adds to this atmosphere of pollution and that makes people suffocate and unable to breathe. And it is adding to this suffering that we are constantly being exposed to. And as of January 23rd, more than 86,000, 90,000 displaced persons from the south have been seeking refuge across Lebanon, showing a 5% increase since January 16. And the Lebanese Ministry of Public Health reported more than 151 killed. I mean, by now, there must be, I wish there were, I have invited people from the South and people who know more about the numbers, but I don't know if they are attending the conference yet. But there has been a lot of people killed, and there has been people wounded as a result of the hostilities in the south of Lebanon. And the fighters also, the Hezbollah fighters also, many of them lost their lives. I think more than 500 of them. And the socioeconomic situation being so vulnerable, so difficult, even before this happened, is creating huge economic problems and very difficult to deal with, especially given that the South relies, and Lebanon, we rely on agriculture, and it has been really affecting the olive trees, the collecting of the vegetables, and it has increased a lot of the problems in Lebanon, which is already tremendous. We cannot hear you, Hama.
Okay, thank you, Evelyn. The question is do you think there is a way out of this situation? What do you think about the future of Palestine and Lebanon and Middle East in general?
Personally, if you're realistic, I feel like we're going towards an apocalypse or type of situation. I don't really have hope, but as a person, one has to have hope and create. Have we? Because the electricity went off. Am I still on because the electricity went off?
Yes, Evelyn, you are.
I'm still on. Okay. The electricity just went off. Okay. So because we cannot afford to lose hope and we have to continue living with hope and offering hope to others, I decided already after the Beirut port blast in which I almost died, I decided to create a center for culture and healing in Beirut, in the area of the port. And before that, I had already founded with my sister a shelter for abused women in the Ras Beirut area, which I'm responsible for. So I'm responsible now for 2 associations here dedicated to healing and emotional growth. Because of these very challenging times of post-pandemic, absent government, economic collapse, banking system collapse, and currency devaluation, people have physical wounds, and the physical wounds may be healing, but their emotional stress, the fears, the traumas, the loss of a sense of safety is so present in the homes, in the streets, in the marketplace. Nobody feels really safe. Nothing feels safe. And domestic violence has been increasing. A study by Accad, one of the organizations in Beirut dedicated to women's rights, found that 96% of domestic violence in Lebanon went unreported in 2021 by young women and girls who had experienced it. And we know that when there is a war situation, usually women and children and older people are the ones who suffer most. And this is also what is going on in Lebanon. So in these realities, creating a space where there will be healing workshops, there will be learning, teaching, and healing support groups, drama therapy, therapeutic exercises, writing, painting, music workshops, conferences, a small library where people can come and read. We will be inviting, we have been also inviting local and regional and international researchers who can come and critically open challenging discussions on all these topics. I believe this will help because I do believe that words and culture and music and painting can help, even in odd and horrible situations. We have seen it, and I'm sure the people in Gaza are going to talk about it because we are witnessing it even in the midst of all the misery they are suffering. We are witnessing that there is resilience, and it comes from music. It comes from a sense of solidarity. It comes also in sense of even when you don't have anything to eat, there is a sense of I have witnessed and seen how people even if they have only a dish of beans, they have been partaking those with other people. In the Center for Culture that I'm opening, there's a little garden with also healthy plants, because plants can be part of the healing process. And so to teach people how to use plants, how to use za'atar, for example, how to use haba, how to use flowers, certain kinds of flowers, all of this can bring out a healing atmosphere. So to me, this is where I see the only hope I see, because otherwise the situations in terms of politics look so gloomy, and in terms of really reaching some kind of resolution, to me seems quite desperate.
Evelyn, I have last questions. The clients you work with, the refugees, the Palestinians who escape, managed to escape and come to Lebanon, any changes in their life? Have they been citizens in Lebanon? Are they recognized that their rights are recognized as equal rights with Lebanese or not?
Not at all. No, and unfortunately, no. There are no rights for refugees. I mean, there are rights because now the West doesn't want them to go to the Western countries. So they are providing money for some refugees so that they will not leave and go across border to the West. And so they have been giving, but it creates even more problems in Lebanon because the Lebanese don't get this kind of support, and many of them are very feel that it's unfair that the refugees are getting money from them while they are not receiving any of the money. But otherwise, no, in terms of rights, in terms of no, because there is always this desire, justified desire, to go back from where you came from your roots.
So are they housed? Some of them, they've been there for 40 years. Are they housed? Can the children go to university free? Are they allowed to have a job like any other Lebanese? These are the questions people ask me.
The Lebanese don't have free school. It's exorbitant, the prices that people have to pay for the school. There's no free university. It's unheard of. So the prices are just so exorbitant for both, so let alone the refugees. There have been some shifts in some schools to accommodate for the refugees to go to school. I have one of my nephews, my niece, one of my nieces and her husband, they opened a center where they provide classes for the refugees in the refugee area, Burj Hammoud. It's called the Life Center. And they provide classes, they provide meals also, but it's not at all on a governmental level, not at all. It's only on the NGOs or individual basis that all of this is going on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's just these are the questions that I have been receiving, and they wanted an answer. They wanted to know for how many years can a person, can a family, can a child stay refugee? How many years? And the child grown and has become an adult and no education, not proper food, not proper medical assistance in any kind. So it's just how could they survive and go for second generation, the third generation, and fourth generation, even in Lebanon?
Yes, we are creating a lost generation. I mean, already the preceding was lost, and now we're creating more of a lost generation. for sure.